Hello, everybody, and welcome to Après Midi in Nice. And I want to apologize that Brian Dunhill is not going to be here today, but he will be because he wasn't able to make it. He will be coming back here on January 23rd. So mark your calendar for our Après Midi in January. And I guess you all know about Thanksgiving. We're doing Thanksgiving Day here upstairs at Oscar. So if you want to register for that, you just go online and do it, or you can let Patty know, and she'll tell you how to go ahead and register for Thanksgiving. So in because Brian Dunhill couldn't be here, I thought you might like to see our latest House Hunters show. So before I start with the show, let's see, how many of you, or at least raise your hand, are living here permanently? Whoa, that's like around 60%, give or take. That's pretty impressive. Who's just visiting? Okay, but you're just visiting for a bit and then you're planning on moving here? I'm thrilled because as you can see, our community is just really grown by leaps and bounds. And you might also know that Ella Dyer, where's Ella? Ella's over there. Ella Dyer unofficially runs a Friday evening cocktail on the beach at the Handy Plage, which is just opposite the Albert Premier Park. And so if you come on Friday evenings about 6 o'clock and bring a bottle of whatever it is you want to drink and even some snacks, you just get to meet a whole lot of people in a more casual setting than this. So I highly recommend doing that. She's the hostess with the mostest, that's for sure. I thought you might, well, maybe we leave it for a Q&A after, because I thought you might have some questions about House Hunters. Because I started doing them in 2006, and I've now done 57 shows. This one is number 54, so there are 3 that are in the can that haven't yet aired. And this one we filmed last March. The contributor, her name is Lisa Radden. She's a young woman living in Paris, and of course you're going to see the whole story. Now, what we're going to do, see, there it goes. It's back. Okay, so in just a minute, I'm going to start it, but Patty's going to, unfortunately, our audience out there is not going to be able to watch it, as I told you earlier. So, Patty, goodbye, outside audience. Okay. Did you enjoy that?
Yes.
Yeah? Is it on? It's recording? Yeah, this is the one that just ran last week, actually. Okay, so you all have questions about this? Yes? Go for it.
What happened with her starting her own business?
Okay, so she asked, I'm going to repeat the question because otherwise the microphone is not being picked up by, okay. What she did start her own business. She is working. Yes, she's doing very well. In fact, I saw Lisa right before I came here, and she helped me hang in my new apartment about 40 pieces of art in one afternoon because she's really good at that. And I did not know her, though, before we did the show. These are just images from YouTube, I guess. Barbara.
Questions. I know when people are looking for apartments, I imagine you just don't show them 3. Does it? So do you really show her more than those 3? Do you only see the final 3?
Okay, so this is entertainment. Okay, and not only is this, I mean, what you asked was, do you show more than the 3? This is a formula that House Hunters has been doing for many years, where they show you the 3 properties and then they have the suspense and they choose one. And so, no, this is definitely not real life. Who of you here has been through the process? Here. See? Most of you. Okay, so how many properties have you looked at? One. Okay, but wait. Okay, but wait. That's because you liked the first one you saw, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and that's because your agent was successful at getting you approved, correct? Yeah, really, that's just really tough. Were these all your clients, Katie?
Yeah,
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Yeah, well, she's just batting 1,000. This one over here. Okay. Yeah, and from what I've seen, they're pretty fabulous. Yeah. No, this is really just a formula, and they're not always my clients. They're sometimes they brought the show to me, and they already had the contributor. What's called the contributor? Ellie, you have a question?
I was just going to say, you guys tag team on our clients here on the Riviera. We have other clients amongst us that bought the first property that they saw from a distance after visiting two others and are happily ensconced in their new life in Midi.
Okay, so what Ella just said, I'm going to repeat it for our audience out there, is that we do also have clients here who purchased the first property they saw, and you're talking about Penny and Jeff.
Yes.
And so Penny, would you like to stand up because we like to sing Happy Birthday. It's her birthday. Well, yeah, she's going to come over here, and everybody's going to hear it. Because we're going to sing Happy Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Penny. Happy birthday to you. And many more. Merci beaucoup. Oh, now in French. Anniversaire. Joyeux anniversaire. Joyeux anniversaire. Thank you all. Okay, should I go ahead and run the next one? Yeah? Okay, Patty, you can. The real story is that they bought the apartment with the really tiny second bedroom. And of course, they renovated. And then her business really did well. And they're now looking for a bigger apartment right now. And Rachel said, "You were right. We should have done this." Okay. So yeah, she didn't. She was afraid of taking the leap, and going forward. She didn't have enough faith, I guess, in herself. One of the interesting things that I've seen happen over the years, though, is that people who move over here, they're afraid how it's going to negatively affect their careers in the States, but it always has the best effect because the moment everyone in the States sees that they own a property in France, it changes their perspective of that person and they end up with bigger careers. Happens over and over again. So it's really interesting. And Rachel's business is just booming. And she doesn't even know what to do with all the money she's making. So they're keeping the little apartment as a rental, and they're in the process of buying the bigger apartment that they wanted. The apartment you saw that was completely like a gut, like a wreck, that's our beautiful fractional apartment called Le Palais de Soleil. Would you like to see pictures of it? I had a feeling you might. And that I can show, right? So let's see what I can do. New window. No, I know how to find it. Because I have an album of it. Well, yeah. Wait, let me do a search. Okay, so I'm just going to run through the shots, okay? Now, we did take down every single wall. I have a brilliant architect named Nicole Champagnol. She managed to get 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms out of 54 square meters. I mean, it's gorgeous. So that's a bedroom beyond the glass, and the back wall is mirrored, so it just goes forever. Uh-oh, come back, come back. So yeah, now you can see it a little bit better. I think in the show, though, we said that it would be about 100,000 reno. Oh, take a wild guess on what it really was. Guess again. Guess again. Close. No, close to 400,000. Well, we installed, because it's a fractional property, it had to be perfect. And so we installed all new windows. And I told our window guy that they had to be the best windows money can buy, period. And so that's what we did. Because you're right on Rue de France, and so it's all bars, and it had to be really quiet. And so you hear nothing when you're in there, nothing, for sure. All of the cabinetry is custom. All the walls, all those atelier walls are custom. It was designed by Martine Di Matteo, with me, of course, together. And like that is a curtain that hides the washer dryer closet. It's hand embroidered. There's mosaic tile, Moroccan and mosaic tile in the bathroom. We spared nothing. When we put the shares up for sale, we closed out 13 shares within 5 days. And the owners love it. So it's right over the Arena restaurant. Yeah. There is an elevator. Yeah, wait, let's see. It's coming back. So that's the room. That's the bedroom with the mirrored back wall, and it has a balcony. So there's a balcony on the front and a balcony on the back. Right. So you know that you buy what you cannot change, right? That's how it works. And the only thing we had to leave in place was a column in the entry, and you can sort of see it. You see this? That is the only thing we left. And we mirrored it, so you don't even know it's there. It just disappears, basically. Yeah. Can you imagine we got that much space out of it? Yeah. Anyway, that's that. Any other questions about the show or anything?
Do you get, or how often do you get when you show these other places because they've already gotten someplace? So
yeah, did you know that in order to film the shows, you have to start out with something that they already have, and then we recreated it's fiction based on reality. Reality TV, by the way, is not real. No, you need to know that it's not possible. It's just not possible to film in real time. You can't do it.
How often do they end up being pretty envious of one of the, I could have had this, but
it happens only when they were not my clients. No, it's really true. Because if they were not my clients, then they went off and did something on their own, and they didn't realize what was really possible. And so, yeah. So, yeah, they end up being a bit envious. But hey, c'est la vie. Any other questions?
I have a question about the older buildings down here. Since we've been here, 2 balconies have collapsed entirely?
2 balconies have collapsed
Yeah,
on an
'cause I
old
noticed
building.
the one building, just like, is that causing any kind of issues here locally in terms of the way the French bureaucracy or the French government works in terms of, is there a big inspection going on or anything? Does that create a big response locally?
I don't know the answer to that question, Jeff. If the balconies have fallen, it's probably because the building is out of date to the Ravalement. You know, by law, which were laws that were enacted in 1962 by Andre Malraux, uh, not insists, but requires that the buildings be refurbished every 10 years, that there's what's called a ravalement. And they hate doing this because it's expensive. So they'll get away, the owners will vote to get away with it as long as they possibly can. My building, which is just across the street, I don't think it was Ravalet. I don't think it was done for at least 25 or 30 years, even though it was supposed to be 10 years. And that's probably why the balconies have not been paid attention to.
About the balconies, I got a notice from my rental agency from the propriétaire asking us to inspect our balconies and
Oh,
let them know if there were any problems.
well, that was as a result of the right. So you got a letter from this, well, from the copropriété, making sure that everyone checked their balconies, which was a smart thing to do. So yeah, that's actually your answer. Yeah, Penny.
I'm curious, looking at the prices you were looking at with this couple,
Mm-hmm.
I believe we've seen a high price increase over the years here in Nice.
Oh yes, prices.
Those apartments would not be anywhere near the prices
No,
you looked at.
no, prices here have, I've watched them go up. I'd say maybe 2 to 3 years ago, you could easily buy a 2-bedroom in this neighborhood for about 500,000. That same apartment right now is more like 750.
Yeah.
It's really gone up considerably.
So if they had bought for 480,
If they had
it
bought
would be worth a
whole lot more. This is a lesson to everyone. Okay, because I mean, Rachel was being conservative because she was frightened of how her business was going to take off, and I understand that. But you do have to sort of think futuristically and realize that if you were to sell your property only a few years after you buy it, you may not have realized the full appreciation. You will have, you have to somehow cover your closing costs, which are about 10% here. And so it doesn't make sense to sell minimum 5 years is my guess. So if you think, you want to do a stepping stone, I would make it a bigger step. I mean, in all honesty. So if you can afford to push it, you do. Anyway, that's my thought about it, and I've seen it happen over and over again. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, if you're looking to move in May, are you going to buy or rent? If you're going to rent, normally we start a rental search about 6 weeks in advance of when you want to move in. Does that help, Katie? You would agree with that, about 6 weeks? Yeah, but with Katie, she finds the apartment too sweet, and then you can't say, well, I don't want to move in for 6 weeks, and I'm not going to pay you rent for 6 weeks. You really have to agree to take the property and pay the rent. Yeah, right. You grab it or you lose it. So it's a crapshoot. But
I mean, that's the thing is we want to find you the best properties. So if one comes up and it matches what
you take it.
want.
Okay, but now here's the thing. There is so little property on this market, it's shocking. I mean, it is rental property. There is so much out there about how little property there is in Nice. And so the fact that Katie and our team have been finding property so quickly is really beating all the odds. Yeah. And that is largely because of the relationships that they make with the agents and to get approved, because that the landlords, they really get nervous about foreign tenants. They really don't feel comfortable. They want a French tenant with a CDI contract who can't get fired, and they'll feel more comfortable.
It's, you say that, it was funny when we were looking from the States and Ella was sending us the videos. There was one down the street from where we bought we wanted to see. They wouldn't let her see it because we weren't here. It stayed on the market 6 months after we moved here.
Well, that's a really interesting story you just told, Penny, because I'm going to tell another story. So the story, I'm going to repeat it. The story that Penny told is that the agent didn't want to show the property. I mean, the selling agent didn't want to show the property to our agent because our client was not here on the ground, and they thought it was going to be a waste of time. And so it was such a waste of time that, of course, they didn't see the apartment, didn't take the apartment, and the apartment ended up staying on the market. How long?
Another
6 months
after we moved here. And we were trying to look at it. I think Ella's left in October. Late September, early October. And we moved here December 1st.
So they lost. Now I'm gonna tell you another story about that. And this was in and around Uzès and the Pont du Gard and Arles, the area. It's actually the Occitanie, but it's close to Provence. And we had a client who found something online that he just thought was going to be perfect. And Jennifer Perret, who has been working with us a long time, contacted the agent to look at the property. And the agent would not show it to her because our client was not with her. So she and the client got on the phone together. Okay, but together they were on the other side of the planet, right? The client was on the other side of the planet. And they were able to figure out where the property was exactly. And she drove to that property and saw a for sale sign on it by owner and knocked on the door and walked in and saw the house or apartment. It was a house. Saw the house and it was perfect. It was perfect. And cut the deal with the owners originally, saved our client the commission, and cut out the agent.
Wow.
Yes, wow is right. Okay. So, they're just stupid, okay? What happens is that those agents don't understand that if you guys come to us and you've hired us to do this work, you are qualified clients. You're for real. This isn't a joke. You're not tire kicking. And they just don't understand that. And so it benefited them. It benefiting you too, because you got a great apartment.
We got the first one. We love our apartment.
As you should.
We do, but we're not in Centerville. Patty calls us the pioneers because we're a little east. You take line 1, Garibaldi, continue going. You've got Republic, Palais des Expositions, turn right, and that's Vauban, and that's where we're at. It's part of Sunroque. We're on a ground floor, beautiful terrace, and we paid a lot less than we would have.
Oh, the price, yes. What they paid for that
I'm
apartment.
the accountant in the family, literally. I'm a retired CFO, so we could relate to the other. Adrian, you might repeat your story so the audience can hear.
Okay, so Penny basically, said that they bought a little bit outside of center, but it's still on Tramline 1 in the Vauban district, which is like northeast of here. The tramline access is fantastic.
Yes.
It's a ground level apartment, which a lot of people feel like in their heads might not be secure, but which is in reality. And they've ended up with an outdoor space with indoor patios, and it's an amazing apartment for a ridiculously inexpensive, they're a really incredibly low amount of money. So they did really well. Yeah. So if you're willing to go a little bit out of center, then you can get more bang for your buck, as they say. Any other questions?
Do they keep the beds like that? Those beds?
Yeah, the kids love them. The kids love them. They're basic Murphy bed that ends up like a
Bunk bed.
like a bunk. Exactly. We actually have time for one more show if you want to see one. You do? You want to see another show? Patty, which one?
We gotta take off and meet our friends.
Okay, no
Jeff's
problem.
pain.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Do you think of one you want to show?
Oh, that's right. I wasn't prepared.
We have another niece.
Yeah, I was trying to think what else you have.
Yeah, let me look. Let me look. Wait a minute, that was the rights. Let me close that out and see if I can do this here. Subtitle, share commands, analytics, library. Oh, you know which one is this one. This one. Right? This is a good one. Here, the real story. Well, it's not the real story. It's the. You have it. You have it on, right? They bought the apartment with the fabulous view, the move-in ready, um, and they rented the hell out of it because of the Institut de Français. The Institut de Français is always looking for, places to put their students for a month at a time, and so they did very, very well with that apartment. So well that they now have a really big, fabulous apartment with an even better view, and they have both of them. So while Jim was Jim was so worried about the money, it turned out to not be a problem at all. Yeah, yeah.
That's a danger.
Hmm?
Buy one and then you buy another, because it happened to Rachel and Will too.
Well, this kind of my point. And well, it's just that they didn't realize what the potential really was. And you don't know. It's all, you make the best decisions you can make, and then you see how it plays out. And it doesn't always play out great, but it can play out really amazing a lot, very, very often. You all have how much time? We've got 5 minutes. You all have been reading my sagas, my property sagas. It hasn't frightened you. um, in spite of all the issues that I've had, I continue to buy property, and the truth is that it's always really ultimately been a blessing. So, and now, of course, what's happening is that because of French inheritance taxes, a lot of the property buying I'm doing is designed to move the assets to my daughter so that she won't have inheritance taxes to pay. So there's actually some method to the madness in a way. Yeah. Any other questions before we say so long? Yeah. Uh-huh. Well, we try to limit it in our contracts to not showing 5 million properties, okay? Because some people they'll say things like, I'll know it when I see it, okay? Sorry, you guys, but that doesn't work, okay? Because if we have no real parameters to work with, then it's a needle in a haystack, and it's really difficult, and we'll end up showing a lot of properties and they'll never make a decision. So, as long as you really center in on what it is you want and what's going to work, and also knowing that there's going to be a trade-off, because there's no such thing as the perfect apartment. It doesn't happen. You know how many people we always say balcony, outdoor space, and how many actually end up with a property that does not have a balcony or an outdoor space? Katie's that's happened to you? Ella?
You've seen our apartment.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I think we found the perfect apartment. And it's perfect. In every way possible.
We gave the parameters of what we were looking for, and they went out, and Katie went out and found it.
So the only thing about your apartment, that may or may not be perfect for someone is the location of it. And some people, and it's also a contemporary building. So you trade, but your location's great because you're close to Liberation, but you're not next to the water. Right. But there's, yeah, exactly. It was perfect for you. But there's usually something you have to give up in order to get something else. And it's just the way it is. Right? Sure.
Is the rental inventory in Paris as limited as Nice?
No.
Really?
It's bad, but it's not anywhere close to Nice. This is the only region in the entire country where property prices have gone up. This is France's hotspot. And you know why, right? I mean, come on, it's pretty amazing. You know, it's funny. I spend about half of my life in Paris and half my life in Nice. I go back and forth, on the train. Aller-retour. When I'm in Paris, all I think about is Nice. And when I'm in Nice, I don't think about Paris. Now, I mean, Paris is Paris. It's pretty fabulous, but it's so different, and it's and it's gray, and the weather's not that great. It's rainy and all that. So I think what I do is I dream about, oh my God, I can't wait to get to Nice and just have the sun and the views and the water and the casual, lovely lifestyle. In Paris, I have to spend 30 to 45 minutes getting on a metro and going across town to do something. Here, I walk out my door and I come here in 3 seconds, or a 5-minute or 10-minute walk. You can get anywhere. So it's just so easy. Life is so pleasant. It's not the cultural mecca that Paris is, but it offers a lot of other different things. So the trick is to just go to Paris every now and then. Go for a long weekend and go to all the museums and get your fix and then come back. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you all. Thank you all. And I apologize for Brian Dunhill not being here, but he will be here in January. So please mark your calendar for January 23rd. And Thanksgiving Day here at Oscar for dinner. Okay. Bye, everybody. Thank you.